Hello, do you enjoy prolonged exposure to ionizing radiation, the side effects of which you can pass on to the future generations? Do you believe that the right answer to every problem is violence? And most importantly, do you enjoy video games where one singular mistake sends you back to the main menu and you have to do it all over again? If you said yes, do I have a game for you? Nuclear Throne is a tightly packed radioactive experience. It's a roguelike where the average run lasts around 10 to 15 minutes. Your goal is to clear every level and defeat the Nuclear Throne, the final boss of the game. To actually play the game, you first have to install the Nuclear Throne Together mod. Start the game, hit play, and run this command. It will full screen the game and make it run at any frame rate you want, because the vanilla game is capped at 30 FPS. Now that we brought the game up to modern standards, it's time to get into the basics. To begin a run, simply select your character. You unlock different characters by either reaching certain levels or doing a really specific task that is impossible to figure out without a guide. Each character has unique abilities, which give your run some variation and make them a little bit easier. Here is a list of the most notable ones. Fish can roll. However, a fair warning, the roll doesn't actually give you invincibility frames. Crystal is quite tanky and can deflect bullets. He is regarded as the easiest character to play. Eyes is the most useless character. Melting is even more useless. The robot, my personal favorite and the most environmentally friendly character, isn't too difficult to play, as he provides decent HP and ammo sustain through eating and recycling weapons. There are a few more characters as well as secret ones, but I'm not gonna spoil that for you. You're not likely to unlock them as soon as you start playing the game, because your first few dozen or so runs will be spent dying and figuring out how the game actually works. This stuff right here is called rads. It drops when you kill enemies, and you need it to level up. Upon reaching the required amount of rads and clearing the floor, you'll be presented with a few mutation options. Mutations give you various effects that are supposed to help with your run. However, that is not always the case, and a streak of bad luck can fuck up your run pretty badly. But you generally should be looking out for ones that help you stay topped up on ammo, kill enemies faster, and that benefit your specific character. You see, Nuclear Throne has no invincibility frames, meaning that you can repeatedly walk into the same bullet and getting jumped on by a melee enemy is an instant death sentence. As much as I love Nuclear Throne, some of you might be turned off by this, because in all honesty, the game isn't exactly fair, and that's the whole point. You have to survive and persevere against all odds. Sure, you do get mutations and specific character abilities, but despite that, the game is still incredibly hard. Even though the learning process in this game is especially brutal, the one saving grace is that runs don't last too long, and once you finally get the hang of it, it's very satisfying to play. If, after hearing this warning, you still want to play Nuclear Throne, let me take you through how an average winning run looks like. You start out in the desert. It's a very open level. The only real threats to you are the bandits, maggots, and scorpions that shoot goo. Here, your goal is to find a decent starter weapon. Weapons can also drop from maggot nests and red chests, while yellow chests give you ammo. Also, make sure to find and break the rad canister, which spawns on every level. Once you make it to the third stage of the desert, you'll encounter your first boss of the run, Big Bandit. He really isn't that bad, just make sure to not accidentally touch him when he's charging, as the years of untreated sexually transmitted diseases are enough to one-shot you just like in real life. Next up, the sewers. A very enclosed level. Here you'll meet assassins, who pack quite a punch melee range, and rats, which are essentially just reskinned maggots. Then we move on to the scrapyard. It's a mix of corridors and open spaces. Here you'll find the big dog. Killing him isn't too difficult, as long as you're not being molested by snipers across the entire level. Assassins can now pretend to be dead and get the jump on you. Only real new threats are the salamanders. Here you will also find the proto statue, which you can break and charge up with rads. Upon doing so, you will gain access to the crown vault. Crowns offer various trade-offs, which can benefit certain characters, but most of the time it'll be more of a challenge than anything else. Following the scrapyard are the crystal caves, populated by crystal spiders and sentient laser crystals. Frozen City contains the last boss before the Nuclear Throne, Little Hunter. He is a little son of a bitch. This boss is super inconsistent, but if you can get him to land in a small corridor, he isn't too hard to kill. In here, the only real threats are the robot wolves and snowbots, which can easily insta-gib you if they get a jump on you. Tanks, apart from being, well, tanky, don't pose much of a threat, as they often don't even react to your presence. If Little Hunter's flying corpse didn't send you back to the character select screen, you made it to the final area. Upon clearing it, you'll have finally reached the throne room. There isn't much I can say, just make sure to maybe not stand in the middle of the room and don't play too fast. This is the only part of the game that has some serious bullet hell elements. And congrats, you've just finished the tutorial, because there is more. There is one game mechanic which I have not explained to you yet. Once you make it back to the nuclear throne, before defeating it, make sure to break all 4 of its generators. At the end of the boss fight, a portal will spawn, which takes you to the second phase of the battle, after defeating which, you'll be thrown into a loop. You can loop as many times as you like, but doing so isn't particularly easy. The more you loop, the harder the game becomes. The amount of enemies doubles, and you'll constantly get invaded by the interdimensional police department. A common cause of death while looping is getting ran over by the fucking police van. I've died like this more times than I'd like to admit, and if you didn't pick particularly good mutations, staying topped up on ammo and health isn't going to be the easiest task in the world. In conclusion, Nuclear Throne is to roguelikes what the original Doom is to first-person shooters. Sure, it's not the most complex experience out there, but it paved the way for other developers to put out their own games, the most notable of which being Enter the Gungeon, a review coming from never to within the next 2 decades. The beauty of Nuclear Throne is in its simplicity. Everything that it tries to do, it does well, something which can't be said about most modern games. Nuclear Throne ran so many games after it could walk. Hopefully, I've convinced you to give Nuclear Throne a try. It's only $10 on Steam and GOG, so go buy it. Or alternatively, if you want to waste your money elsewhere, I made a Patreon. I promise to start uploading more frequently. And as always, thank you for watching.